This is Tam Tam Paradise, a Japanese rhythm game for the PlayStation 2. This game was made by Global A Entertainment, or GAE for short, in 2001. The game centers around the protagonist named Angel-chan, who uses a device called the Angel's Tam Tam to help people around the world and to prevent the antagonist Dark-chan from interfering. Here is what the front and the back of the game case looks like, and what the manual and disc look like. The disc is a CD-based disc, which is why it is blue tinted. I do have high-resolution scans of the manual. I will leave a link in the video description. The game fits into the same category as other weird Japanese console rhythm games such as Mojib Ribbon or Dog of Bay. But what makes this game unique unlike the others is that GAE manufactured their own controller for playing just this game. This is the Tam Tam controller. This controller came bundled with the game, which I bought from Play Asia on May 9th, 2016 for $30. This game's MSRP for the bundle when it came out in 2001 was 7,800 yen, which was about $65. So I paid about half of the MSRP price 15 years after it came out. The controller is separated into two pieces tied together by a cord connecting them, and uses a standard PlayStation connector for attaching to the console. Each half has three buttons: the circle, the fan, and the edge. The circle and fan buttons don't use rubber membrane switches or micro switches, but they use drum piezo triggers instead, similar to what Gitadora or Taiko arcade drums use. To trigger these buttons, the button surfaces are slapped instead of depressed. The edge button, however, does use normal rubber membrane switches. I will show all of these later when I open the controller. The circle and fan buttons do have some give in the button movement, but it's just a sponge providing some cushion for when the button is hit. There is no purpose to actually depress these two buttons during play, but there are certain notes that require a harder slap of the button to register. The edge button, however, behaves like a normal button and is pressed like a normal button. On the back of the controller, the model number GAE002 is visible. The controller is advertised as being able to be used two different ways. It comes included with these two straps, which allow the controller to be tied to your legs above the knees, so the game can be played sitting down without a table. It also came bundled with a foam pad with Velcro circles attached, and the controllers also had Velcro attached as well, so the controllers could be attached to this foam pad and played on a table. On the back are normal Phillips head screws holding the controller closed. On the inside, the drum piezos are visible for the circle and fan buttons, surrounded by the yellow cushioning. The edge button has its own separate switchboard with 3 switches on it, which will allow it to be triggered from a larger area. There's also a main board visible, and this is what that looks like. The character art was designed by Mizutani Salokoro. In the manual, there is a website listed for the artist, and surprisingly, the URL for their site still works and is still being updated to this day. They are still very active on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Inside the manual, underneath the section for the character artist, it mentions that the game is featured in the July 27, 2001 issue of Dengeki PlayStation, which is issue number 182. Luckily, I managed to find this issue on archive.org. It goes over a brief synopsis of the story, the features of the Tam Tam controller, and how to complete a few of the minigames. I will leave a link to this in the video description. For my game capture hardware, I'm using a fat PlayStation 2 with a RetroTink 2X Pro, HD Retrovision component cables, and an Elgato HD60S. The game is running off of a Memcard Pro 2 using MMCE support to run the game directly from the SD card. Now it's time to boot up the game and watch the intro cinematic. The title screen has 3 choices to choose from: 1 player, 2 player, and options. In the options screen, there are several choices. The first is audio, where a slider can be adjusted to hear either more of the BGM or more of the drum sound effects. The next option is controller sensitivity, which has 3 different choices: low, medium, or high. The next option is either choosing stereo or mono sound. The next 3 options are autosave, either on or off, save, and load. The very last option is going back to the main menu. In single player, there are 9 total levels in story mode, and 3 secret tracks that are unlocked in expert mode as well. These levels are ranked in difficulty with stars, 3 stars being the harder levels. The secret tracks do not have a star rating. When choosing a song, there are 4 different game modes to choose from: story mode, expert mode, free mode, and listening mode. Story mode will have mini games that need to be completed in the middle of each song. At the beginning of each song, there are instructions on how to play each minigame. The story mode can be beaten in about an hour. Each song starts out with regular rhythm game gameplay, but halfway through will stop and change to a minigame. Each song has a different minigame that needs to be cleared to progress through story mode. In the Caribbean minigame, use the fan buttons to dodge the obstacles and collect 18 hearts before the minigame ends. There are fish that can be eaten to regain health. In the America minigame, hit the correct buttons to the rhythm when the crosshairs are over the enemies. Each enemy has a specific button that needs to be hit at the right time. From left to right, it's the left fan, left circle, and right fan. In the Korea minigame, collect 30 hearts that are dropped from above before the minigame ends, while dodging a guy running across the screen. Use the fan buttons to move left and right, and the circle buttons to jump over the guy. In the Indonesia minigame, match the correct heads on the correct bodies to the rhythm. Each head corresponds to a certain button, which are displayed under the score. 16,000 score is needed to pass. In the Japan minigame, alternate pressing the 2 circle buttons every 8th note to spin the character's hair around. 50 points are needed to pass. In the Egypt minigame, alternate pressing the 2 circle buttons every 8th note to move the people to the right. When the snakes are blinking red, press both fan buttons to jump. 50 points are required to pass. In the India minigame, use the circle buttons to climb the blue tree and use the fan buttons to dodge Dark Chan when they come down. It's hard to guess where Dark Chan will be when they come down to attack, so when they fly up, prepare to move left or right instead of climbing up for the next input in order to dodge them. Reaching the top is required to pass the minigame. In the Congo minigame, it's a Simon Says minigame where you mimic the poses of the other character. The screen before the song starts explains all the buttons needed to press for each pose the other character makes. It's required to watch the other character and not the symbols at the bottom, as the symbols will turn into question marks halfway through. The health bar needs to be in the rightmost quadrant to pass. In the Heaven minigame, flying upwards will cause the score to increase, and getting over 30 score will complete the minigame. Dark Chan will occasionally attack with lightning bolts in various patterns. Collecting a white heart will give invincibility for a short time, and will also allow flying into Dark Chan, which will add 2 seconds to the minigame, giving more time to complete it. Regardless of if the minigame is cleared or not, after the minigame ends, the rhythm game gameplay will resume again until the song ends. Expert mode is normal rhythm gameplay with no minigame breaks in the middle of the song. Here's a little bit of gameplay from one of the secret songs. Free mode will play the audio for a song, and pressing buttons will play the instruments used for that song. There is no rhythm game gameplay in this mode. The song can also be muted to listen to just the sound effects of the notes. Listening mode is just to listen to the song itself. No inputs will register and there is no life bar. This is essentially an autoplay mode. There are 4 accuracy ratings: cool, great, goo, and miss. The cool accuracy is only for songs that have larger notes that you have to hit the controller harder for. These notes are larger in size. There's also max combo, total combo, and either event bonus or exact bonus. Event bonus is only in story mode and gives additional score for completing the minigames in the middle of the song. Exact bonus is only available in expert mode and will give a percentage of how many notes that are hit perfectly. I did do a video on this game already, but it was a live stream of a blind full playthrough of story mode, and it was about 10 years ago from this video, around the same time I purchased the game. The quality isn't the best, but it's still on my YouTube channel if you are interested in seeing me fumble through some of the mini games with the language barrier. That pretty much covers the majority of this game. If there are any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching.